Hello, everybody. Welcome to the presentation. I'm taking over already. Eve, I'll let you do your thing.
I don't know. I'm liking where Gabrielle looks like she's at a bar, man. Sign me up.
Oh, get her out of here. Get her out of here.
Hells
She was
yeah.
at my boot
Oh,
camp. I was on the phone to her this week.
uh-uh.
Where?
I'm
Forget
actually
it.
not at a bar. I'm at a kava bar. So it's more so like it's not an alcohol bar. There's no alcohol here.
Dang. I mean, I was going with the it's 5 o'clock somewhere concept.
It's eight
Oh,
o'clock.
no.
It's 8 o'clock here.
AM, PM, AM,
PM.
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 PM. Okay.
Eve, you got a little bit of research to do before you come over here about this time difference, Tucky.
You know, if I slept at night, I'd probably be on my A game, but
We'll let you off. We'll let you off.
it was midnight last night. I was going down the rabbit hole of medicinal mushrooms for dogs.
Oh, wow. Okay. Fair enough.
Right?
It would be useful for me, Eve, if people could let me know in the chat, well, like where they're from. You know, I always like to know where people are from. So if you can drop in the chat, boys and girls, where you are situated. I assume you're in the States, but you may be somewhere else.
Yeah, we all don't
Let
have
me
that
know.
lovely accent. I got my Midwestern twang, that
Here we
Scandinavian
go.
stuff.
Yeah, Gabby, I knew you were Florida, Gabby. I knew that. Hi, Laurie, Milwaukee. Hi. Hello, CB Lewis, Fort Worth, Texas. Love that place. Waynesville,
Jersey.
Ohio, Ellen. Mikey, House of Hounds. Hi, Mikey. I think we've seen you on something before, haven't we? On a webinar, maybe. So brilliant. Welcome. Kristen from La Crosse,
And it's
Wisconsin.
Medina, not Medina. It's Medina, Minnesota.
Oh, is it really? Okay, fair enough. Right.
It's not funky cold Medina, like Sir Mix-a-Lot, I think. I'm trying to think of who sang that song.
Funky Cold Medina,
Yeah.
she's writing it down. Funky Cold Medina, sorry. Fabulous.
Medina, Medina.
Yeah, Diane is from Atlanta. Fantastic, wonderful. Right, Eva, let you take over, and then you just let you direct me towards starting.
I mean, you're just rolling, so I'm just
Fantastic. All
here.
right, then let's goddamn start this thing.
No, you're
Here we go.
good. Tone low. Thank you, Kristen. I was like, God, I can't think of who sang that. All right, welcome everybody. So, the wonderful Dom Hodgkins is here with us today. Enrichment, it's
Close
the
enough.
new buzzword, right? It's the new buzzword. It's the buzzword we've been hearing for months and months and months and months. And as somebody who was very hesitant to jump on board, as I just said, I was researching mushrooms for dogs till midnight last night because I like to do my research. I like to go down the rabbit hole. I like to really understand Hodgson. I'm going to blame a lot of things on a lot of things.
That's the
I'm
first
not.
time you've ever called me that. That's so weird. Yeah, we'll blame the tiredness, darling. You're
There you
okay.
go.
Give you.
I'm thinking 5 steps ahead. So yeah, enrichment. So I have 2 dog daycares. One of my daycares is traditional, dogs at play. And my other daycare is membership based and enrichment based. So every week we do a different theme based on crazy things that we find off the internet. This week is Mario Kart week because it's Mario Kart day on Monday. So we decided to do Mario Kart. So the dogs are jumping over things and going on different textures and jumping in and out of race car beds
Is
to
that where
sim.
is that where the mushrooms come in? Mario?
Yes. See,
Good.
I'm on a roll here. Um, and so we set that up in our hallway area. So one thing I always talk with Dom about is where. Everybody comes to me and they're like, I don't have any space. I don't have any space. And if you've ever been to any of my seminars where I talk about what is the cost of the floor space in your facility, your floor is revenue. So for me, enrichment needed to equal optimizing floor space and creating good revenue streams in order for me to jump all in. So with that, we are going to talk to I'm going to say the OG of enrichment. Don was talking about this when it was just a faint little chatter, and he has really embraced what it takes to roll out enrichment within your facility and why it is about the dog's well-being. in my mind, everything that we should be doing is about the dog's well-being and that dog-human relationship. So without further ado, Mr. Dom, and if you have questions along the way, you need clarification, put it in the chat. Miss Kristen is going to monitor that chat, and she will circle back around with us towards the end. So, Mr. Dom, look at you, all happy. I see the golden key.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. Thank you, Eve. And thank you for this opportunity. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm delighted that you've all given up an hour of your day to come and listen to me. And yeah, thanks again, Eve and Kristen. So let's dive into it, guys. We've got a lot of content to get through. I'm going to talk pretty quickly because that's what I do. And yeah, you're just going to have to keep up and or watch the replay if you get stuck. So enrichment, why is the golden key? I did a presentation at Hershey last year, and I'm doing a similar one at the Vegas Expo because it went down so well, all about enrichment and how enrichment can give your doggy daycare the E factor. We all have heard of the X factor, that special something that that only certain performers have or certain entertainers have. Well, you can give your daycare, your pet resort, the E factor with the power of enrichment. So enrichment is the golden key. It will help you to offer enriching experiences for dogs that create empowered employees, who will drive your business forward, help you to drive your business forward, and lead to eager and excited clients who want to throw money at you so their dog can experience these e-ticket experiences. So anybody who has is a Disney fan, you'll may have heard me talk about Disney in the past. I'm a big fan of Disney, and the sort of Disney concept really ties in very well with enrichment. And one of the things that Disney did back in the day was they used to categorize their rides. And so they had A ticket, B ticket, C ticket, D ticket, and then there was E ticket rides, and these were the best rides. These were the top rides. Things like the Matterhorn and the Haunted Mansion, that kind of thing. And this actually became a phrase used all over the world. E-ticket, yeah, we've heard of this phrase before, haven't we? And Sally Ride, who went to into space, she said about the experience, ever been to Disneyland? Because going to space was definitely an e-ticket ride. And so enrichment will enable you to sort of create this feeling that you're offering e-ticket experiences in your facility, and it will enable you to stand out like an orange in a bucket full of apples. So what we're going to cover today is three things, just three things, nice and simple. As Eve said, keep the questions coming in the chat box. If I don't cover them during, we'll definitely leave time at the end to cover them then, because we might be able to group a bunch of questions together anyway. Yeah, so how to offer enriching experiences, how to create empowered, engaged employees, and how to have eager, excited clients who want to invest in all this premium enrichment services, and so their dog can enjoy the best life possible. And enrichment really is the golden key that can unlock a ton of hidden money in your business. There's not very often that, well, every now and again, something comes along, a product or a service comes along that totally captures the zeitgeist. It's the right product at the right time for the right trend. I'm thinking about something like the iPhone. You know, the iPhone at the time was such a revolutionary device because it combined so many things that people wanted. They wanted access to data. They wanted, you know, they wanted to have the 1,000 songs in their pocket. They wanted to have the touch screen and everything else. And Jobs, the visionary that he was able to wrap all of that up in this amazing product. And everybody was happy. The Apple were able to charge way more money for a phone than anybody had charged before, and they still do. We as the customers were really happy as well, and it's just a perfect product at the perfect time. For you guys, enrichment is that it's not a product, but it's a service. Enrichment is that thing that can unlock a ton of money in your business, and here's why it's the golden key. Enrichment services can increase the profit per employee, profit per hour, and profit per square foot of your facility. So Eve touched upon this at the start, and if I don't cover it in the webinar fully, we will loop back to it. But people have a ton of different excuses for not doing enrichment. And we know because we do surveys regularly. And people say things like, we don't have enough space. Some people say we have too much space. We don't need enrichment because we have too much space. My clients won't pay for enrichment. The staff will screw enrichment up. All the different excuses that people have. And we're going to bust all of those myths in this presentation. Enrichment services can dramatically increase the average transaction value, the frequency of transactions. That's how often people are spending money. And then the lifetime value of the client. So the pet industry has been on a bit of a wave. Well, a bit of a wave is a bit of an understatement, a bit of a wave of growth for the best part of maybe 2 decades. And even COVID, like that was like a little bit of a blocker, but then it just kind of exploded again, didn't it? And one of the things that a lot of daycare and pet resort owners have, I'm not going to say they've taken it for granted, but certainly we've ridden that wave very, very well. But it's been a wave based upon humans' love for dogs and the fact that pet ownership has increased dramatically, and all that kind of thing. Whereas now,
no, you're right, Dom.
You're
right. We've been living off of the livelihood of abundance.
Indeed,
right?
Yeah, and like there's
Filters
nothing wrong with that, but it's just what you and this is I've got to be careful here. I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody's hard work that they've done in growing their business, but I'm just it's like we've had it compared to a lot of different industries, we've had it pretty easy, and again, that's not taking anything away from anything that all of the hard work that you've done, but now with inflation been quite high, and it's actually a lot higher than what they're saying it is now. It is even on your side of the pond too. Increased competition. There's dog owners. It's harder to get dog owners through the door, and it's harder to get them to spend as much money as once they did, to come as often as they did. That means we have to make sure that we increase the overall sort of lifetime value and the customer value, and enrichment is the way that we can do that. And the good news is as well is that there really is no limit to the amount of enrichments your clients will buy if you know how to market them, and we're going to cover that too. So why is all this important? Well, you guys will be hopefully aware, we are this side of the pond anyway, the story of the 3 little pigs. One pig built his house of straw, one pig built his house of sticks, and the pig built his house of bricks. And the house of bricks for a pet business owner, in my opinion anyway, if you've seen me talk before, you'll know I talk about this a lot too, premium pricing, the power to be able to charge premium prices. And the business who can charge premium prices is more insulated from rising costs, inflation, increased competition, dare I say recession even. There's a lot of shall we say, unpredictability in the world right now, and there are things happening almost daily that are I'm not going to get into the politics of why they're happening, but one thing is certain is this is going to erode the confidence of the general market, so people will be less willing to spend, and the people who are willing to spend will be the people who have more disposable income. So targeting affluent clients is crucial. Is crucial because these are the people who are used to spending money on extras. So they will be. It'll be easier to sell them to get them to buy extras for their dog too. Okay. And why should you listen to me about this? Well, apart from the fact that I'm a handsome English gentleman, as Eve described me, I've actually studied this a lot, guys, and I've written books about this, and I have I've basically devoted like the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years of my life to helping pet business owners to get better at doing this kind of thing. I speak regularly on the stage. That's the recent boot camp that we did in Orlando. Gabby, can you see yourself on that photograph? There she is on the right. She's hiding, actually. She's hiding on there. I host the Pet Boarding and Daycare podcast, if any of you listen to that. And I'm also good friends with the one and only Eve Mulzon. Eve touched upon this too. Why enrichment services are better for the dogs. So a lot of dog daycare owners, some of them have come to this realization like by themselves, maybe they've seen the kind of the behavior deteriorating of the dogs in the daycare in a group setting where it's just free play all of the time. There's a lot of people saying the right things now, I think, about enrichment and about kind of personalized dog care. But I'm going to share with you really quickly my enrichment story, which started back in 2011 when I started my first business, my dog adventure business here in the UK. So I did two things right when I started my business. I was premium priced. I charged twice as much as my competitors, even though I didn't have any experience or right to do so. And I called my service adventures instead of walks. So I positioned myself differently. And what that did was, see, that immediately stood me out from the competition. So I stood out because I charged more money than them. And dog owners who were looking for something different, who were looking for something that was more than just like a walk around the block, they were naturally drawn to me because I was doing adventures. However, I did those things right. One of the things I didn't do very well was I didn't have a very good knowledge of how to handle a group of dogs. So we used to pick the dogs up, and then we have lots of beautiful beaches here in the northeast of England, and I used to take them off to a beach or off to the hills and go tromping off with them, and then I used to let them off lead, let them have a little leg stretch, and they would go off exploring, and they would sniffing each other, and then they would start to chase each other, and then they would be roughhousing, and then before I knew it, like within maybe a couple of months, really, I was losing control of these dogs. And it all came to a head one day. I was standing in the field and I had like a bunch of dog leads in my hand and all these dogs were running around. I was thinking, this is terrible. I need to do something about this. So I contacted a friend of mine who put me in touch with a well-renowned dog trainer called John Hodgson. And I learned a ton of different things from John, which I'm going to go into in a second. So yeah, I wanted to do something different. I didn't necessarily want to walk on the moon with dogs, but I wanted to do something different. There's young Dom, Eve. What a handsome guy, hey? With my own dogs, because you always have to pose with your own dogs, don't you, when you're doing your promo pitches for your business, because you don't have any clients then. So there's my business, Pack Leader Dog Adventures. You see the running there, dog walking, running adventures. And please, nobody took me up on the running back then, because that is hard work.
I was just going to ask how far are we running, but
not far, trust me. Yeah, so the adventures actually became the thing that people wanted, which was great. And I was doing on lead walks in nice locations. We did a little bit of running, but I was kind of, how can I stimulate the dogs? How can I provide something different for the dogs that is more than just like a walk around the block and having a toilet break, I knew I wanted to offer something different, but I didn't know what that would look like or what that could look like. So I was counting on the locations that I was taking the dogs really as being the differentiating factor. And we had a lot of fun, but like I said, I wasn't providing a very personalized service for the dogs until I met John Hodgson. And John sadly passed away about 14 months ago, but on that course as well. Anybody read the Dog Vinci Code? It's a fantastic book. I would highly recommend that you get that. On that course, I met Dave Davies, who became my kind of dog training mentor. And from these guys, I learned the power of play. So how you can have control of a dog, not by shouting at him or by, jerking him around on a lead and all this kind of thing, but by actually being a source of entertainment, by being a source of fun for the dog. And this was like revelatory to me, because not only did I not have a good relationship with the dogs, that my clients' dogs, I didn't even have a very good relationship with my own dogs. I didn't. I swear. I came home from the first day on the course, and Beth said, like, well, what did you learn? And I said, well, we need to play with the dogs more, you know. And so I got on the floor and I got some toys out and I started to play. And as someone who's never done that before, it was a huge step, you know. But it really did open my eyes, and the business really went from strength to strength from that time forward. So this is actually a tracking day that we did. That's me and Dave in the background there, and they're my clients who came along for that day. So as I got more into providing more structured, fun exercises for the dogs on my adventures, the clients wanted to do it too. So they were kind of replicating what I was doing. So my kind of transformation was filtering out, you know, with my clients and my community, which is obviously fantastic. And that was kind of the big breakthrough really from John. One of the things that he taught us, and we did this at the Darlington Dogs Trust, because we were working with the dogs who were awaiting being rehomed, you know, it was like a shelter. And he taught us how to interview a dog, how to find out what a dog likes, the dog's 5 favorite foods, the dog's 5 favorite toys, the dog's 5 favorite people, the dog's 5 favorite places to be touched, the dog's 5 favorite games. All of these things, this process of interviewing the dog, it gives you information about the dog that you can use to control and influence the dog. But it also, the process of finding out what a dog's favorite food is, that also helps you to build a bond with the dog as well. So, you know, if you have a piece of cheese in one hand, you have a piece of hot dog in the other, and you show the dog each one, let him have a sniff, he's going to tell you. He's going to say, I prefer cheese or I prefer hot dog. Well, that's good information to have, isn't it? Yeah, if you want to control dogs when you're out on a dog adventure like I was doing. And this actually became a whole chapter that was in my first book that I wrote, How to Be a Dog Superhero, a whole chapter called The Dog Audit. So you can go and get that book now. It's available on Amazon. In fact, Eve, what I'll do is, darling, what I'll do for you, I'll provide the audio for the book or the PDF for everyone who's on the webinar. How's that?
Fabulous. I'm sure they will enjoy it. I listen to you on my drive to Minneapolis every couple of weeks.
Fantastic. Excellent. Yeah, so this really transformed what I was doing. I was starting to use the environment. I was playing with the dogs a lot more. We were providing like an interactive experience for the dogs, and we were able to do it in a way that we could exercise the dogs as a group and play with them as a group. We still did individual stuff with them, but they were essentially group adventures that we were on. Now, I know my business is a lot different. My business, sorry, was a lot different to what you guys are doing, but the principles really are exactly the same about how the need for providing like a personalized experience for dogs. If you just allow dogs to practice being feral dogs, they will become feral dogs. and that's what was happening to my clients' dogs. And I was like horrified, thinking, Jesus, you know, I started this business with so many good intentions here, and like it's all falling apart in front of me. But you know, thankfully I found some great mentors, and I'm glad to say that I found good business mentors and stuff along the way too, and it's made such a difference to the progress that I've made. Yeah. So yeah, we used to take the dogs swimming, you know, and all the dogs used to enjoy this. Well, most of the dogs used to enjoy this anyway. But the enrichment journey that I've been on is probably similar in a lot of ways to your pet business enrichment journey too, you know, where you've at some point in the journey, you've been like, you know, this is what everybody else is doing, but like, it doesn't feel right that that the dogs are either deteriorating or they're getting injured or there's fights breaking out or whatever, you know, like these things are all happening. And any of you who attended our Pet Care Enrichment Summit that we did last year, we spoke to a bunch of zookeepers. And this came up from their talks. Just as zookeepers provide opportunities for animals to forage, explore, and solve problems, dog daycare owners should incorporate activities that tap into the dog's innate instincts to keep them engaged and stimulated. So here's why personalized enrichment is better for dogs. You can tailor it to individual needs and preferences. So you can provide a more personalized service for dogs who don't necessarily thrive in a group environment. You know, a lot of dogs do thrive. A lot of dogs are fine. They'll come, they'll spend the day, they'll play when they want, they'll relax when they want, they'll be confident enough to they'll handle themselves very well, and they'll go home and nothing be a problem. However, there are lots of other dogs as well, dogs who don't particularly thrive in that situation. And so if you can provide a more personalized service for a dog who needs that, then obviously it's better for the dog, isn't it? You know, and it's going to be better for your profits as well if you can charge a premium for that kind of personalized service. You can address specific behavioral goals, so you can calm dogs down who are over exuberant, or you can build the confidence in dogs who are anxious, shy, nervous, etc. Reducing stress and overstimulation. Obviously, it's good to promote calmness in a daycare environment. Anyway, you know, this is always a good thing. And this whole thing about natural instincts, you know, it's actually I mean, dogs are a man-made creature in many ways, you know, and so that we provide a service like in a daycare environment, but it's not a very natural environment for dogs, for a domesticated dog, you know, to be with other dogs all of the time and to not have any human interaction. Yeah, that's not natural for a domesticated dog.
Well, and we're
agree?
creating the group, right? It's not a natural pack. We are manufacturing it as a play group based on what we feel is a natural synergy.
Indeed, yeah. And at some point, you know, I would say every dog will benefit from some sort of timeout, you know, some sort of opportunity to, just to practice interacting with a human, you know, and not necessarily being with the dog, and having this opportunity to sniff, dig, learn, and explore things. And this bonding and trust with humans, this is really crucial. We talk about this a lot in Enrichment University, and it was a big part of like what I learned, as you just heard there, with my own like business journey. You know, what was missing from my dog adventures when before I had this like epiphany on the John Rogerson course. Well, what was missing was I wasn't doing anything with the dogs, you know, and so like they're and if and I'm their carer. I'm the chief carer whilst their owner's at work, you know. So the owner's not playing with the dog, you know, and I'm not playing with the dog. That means nobody's playing with the dog. So the dog's going home tired, you know, but the dog's not necessarily going home any better behaved than they were when I picked them up. Yeah, so that's a bit about personalized enrichment is better for dogs. Any questions on that, Eve, or anything from anybody so far, or shall I just motor on?
I think keep going. If Miss Kristen has something, she will interrupt.
Wunderbar. Excellent. Okay. Right, let's move on to point 2 now about how can we have empowered, engaged employees? Why do we struggle to retain good staff? Again, we've done a lot of surveys on this. We've had a lot of feedback from dog daycare owners, and these are some of the top reasons. You guys might have more. If you do, please share them with me in the chat box. But it's generally it's physically demanding work being in a daycare, and it's very mentally tiring just watching dogs all day. It's I mean, watching anything all day for anybody doing one thing is tiring, you know. And so yeah, but there's kind of a solution to this, which we'll come on to in a second.
No, it really is. I actually had an ER nurse who worked for me part-time, and she said that a 6-hour shift at dog daycare made her more exhausted than working a 10 or 12-hour shift in the ER, because in daycare, everything is situational. In the ER, it was this happens and we do this, and this happens and we do this, to where, again, we've manufactured a group of dogs at play. So everything is situational and constantly in motion. So.
Indeed. Yeah. That's a good one. I love that, Eve. Yeah, I will use that from now on. Limited growth opportunities. Unless you want to become a manager, or you want to become a trainer, or you want to develop and become a groomer or something like that, often there's not as much of a developmental pathway for techs in the daycare environment. Stressful. Stress of dealing with difficult or too many dogs can contribute to leading to burnout. A lack of training and support. There's a difference between being a good being a good trainer and a good handler, and I think that's important. I've known, I should say, a lot of really good dog trainers who would have been terrible, who were terrible handlers, or who wouldn't have been able to do what I did on my dog adventures, because they weren't animated enough, they weren't able to interact with the dogs enough. They may be very, and this is nothing against clicker trainers, but very kind of stony-faced click treat type people, and whereas the dog, a dog who's dogs are very simple creatures, They want to feel safe. They want an opportunity to. Dogs are fun seekers, They want an opportunity to explore and try new things, and they like showing off and utilizing their talents. Whether that is they are good runners, or they are good jumpers, or they are good sniffers, or whatever that is. And if you can provide that kind of thing for the dog will be really, really, really happy. But obviously within that, is the fun element, is the dog. This is why we love dogs, We love dogs because they get us like no other animal does, And so to be a good handler, yeah, well, enrichment can help you a lot with that as well. And there's a lack of opportunities to earn more money as well. This is another reason why we struggle to retain good staff members. So how can we make the work that they do more valuable? Well, we're going to get into it now. So enrichment is really good for the staff because it can enable staff development. So instead of learning how to be a trainer or learning how to be a groomer or whatever, which is a big step for a lot of, I'm not saying they shouldn't want to do that, but it's a big step to commit to want to become a trainer. And a lot of people might not want to be a trainer. They might not need to be a trainer. You probably have enough work in your daycare for them to just be, to have a pretty good career with you in your daycare. But why not develop them still? And I know a lot of you do this already, so don't, I'm not saying people don't do this, but a lot of people don't, and a lot of people are missing the enrichment education, how you can use enrichment. And we have an employee passport. So Eve's going to be the keynote speaker at my impact event later this year, and last year, sorry, the year before last, my business mentor Vance Morris came over from the US, and he spoke as well. Vance used to work at Disney, and so he taught us a bunch of Disney secrets. And one of the things that Disney have is an employee passport, and so this is something that we're developing. Actually, Tim's got it running in his daycare now. We're going to roll it out to the Enrichu guys in a few months' time, as a way for the staff to progress within the confines of how do I become a better handler, and how do I learn more about how I can interact with the dogs and keep the dogs happy and read the dog's body language and all that kind of thing. Enrichment is better for the staff because it helps to keep the staff motivated. They're not just watching dogs, they're doing things. Eve, to your point earlier about the nurse, like there's different things happening all the time. There's emergencies are coming in. 1 minute I'm putting this catheter in, the next minute I'm putting a bandage on. Well, we're not, obviously we don't want to be doing medical stuff in the daycare, but if you're spending 10 minutes with the dog in a sense space, and then you're doing some trick training, and then you're doing some balance board stuff, and then you're doing some sound desensitization. If these kind of things are happening throughout the day, that breaks up the day. That makes it way more interesting than just watching dogs all day. So it's variety, makes it more interesting, and it makes life easier and calmer for the dogs, which leads to less burnout for the staff because the dogs are easier to control. Because the dogs are getting what they need, and the staff are helping with that, the staff have an easier time of it too. Yeah. And as we said, this one-to-one time with the dogs, sort of, and this is very anecdotal, but in a similar way to what happened with my business, a lot of the guys who are really kicking ass within the Enrichu program, their staff are like happier to come to work now. They really are they're enjoying the activities. They're enjoying planning as well, and all that kind of thing, that goes with it, the theming that you talked about, Eve.
Yep.
But they're more enthused.
It gives them a bigger purpose, right? It gives them a bigger purpose.
Indeed. Yeah, exactly.
And that's really it. Yep. No, I actually just handed off to one of my staffers, setting up what our enrichment activities are each week. And yeah, he's knocking it out of the park. So
good for him. Good for him. Brilliant. And like people want to, like what you just said there, Eve. People often think like, oh, you know, the staff, they just want more money, you know, and like everybody, you know, obviously everybody wants more money, you know, but like it's not the only thing.
Right.
We don't
It's
only go
not.
to work for money.
Yep. It's funny. I was just at an economic summit and they were saying, you have to put in what the position offers, health insurance, dental insurance. But when you actually add it up, they don't use it,
Mm,
right? What they want is a purpose in life. They want to
mm,
feel like they're a part of something bigger.
mm.
And enrichment offers exactly that, right? Something bigger,
This
more
pathway,
than just
it is.
standing there watching the dog take a poop and scooping it up.
Exactly. However, there is a harsh reality to all this. What we did when we did the enrichment summit, Eve, can you remember? And you were part of the panel of owners that were the round table that we had, and Mark said this very phrase. You know, Mark said, you know, the fact is, enrichment, it's more expensive to deliver. You know,
Yeah.
and he's right, it is. Obviously, this one-to-one time that we are providing for the dogs, whether it's 15 minutes in a scent space or setting up a snuffle cafe or whatever it might be, it doesn't, like, it costs more money. Okay, so you have to be able to market the services as well, which we'll get onto in a second. So it's to get to the place that I'm kind of describing is it takes more work to get to that place than it does just to create an environment that is like what I would call a standard daycare. Okay. But it's way more, it's going to be way more enjoyable and way more profitable when you get there. I have a sneaky suspicion that my internet might have just dropped out there. So I'm going to wait until I can hear from Eve before
I can hear you just fine,
before I
darling.
restart.
Can you hear me
Move
now?
that out of the way.
Technology is great when it works.
I can hear you now. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Perfect. And I will chime in a little bit later on ways to minimize the expense, both staff and materials. Well, while Dom is waiting to hear me, because we can
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Okay, apologies for that. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dom. Keep going.
Yeah. Marvelous. Okay, apologies for that, guys. Apologies. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to assume that you saw that. Yeah, so it's going to lead us to a better business. Okay, basically, I think. And remember, enrichment is the golden key to unlock a better, more profitable business if you know how to market it. So to increase the profit per employee, which we talked about earlier, you have to make the work that they do more valuable. Okay, you have to find a way to make what they do with the dogs. You need to be able to charge more money for it. So here are some of the innovative daycare activities that that we've seen people have a lot of success with. You may be doing some of these already. If you are, well done. If you aren't, you should consider giving these a go. So any kind of personalization. Okay, any kind of personalization with a dog. Like I said, this is such a missing piece of the puzzle. Okay, like often the owner doesn't know how to interact with the dog. The owner might not want to interact with the dog. The owner might be too busy to interact with the dog. It's not that the owner doesn't love the dog. It's just that the owner doesn't know what the dog needs. I was that owner. I described it at the start of the presentation. Yeah, a lot of owners are like that. We get so we're so kind of in our own dog world bubble, you know, of thinking that people just do the things that we do on a daily basis, and the fact is that they don't. You know, so any kind of personalization that you can provide for a dog, you can charge more money for, essentially, because this is something that the dog owner doesn't have time for. They don't know how to do it, or they don't know how to do it very well. They might feel self-conscious. You know, there's a ton of different reasons. The sense space. The sense space is probably the easiest way, I think, to get started with any kind of enrichment activity that you add on. Eve talked earlier about space. You know, space is a big thing, crops up all the time. I don't have enough space. Tim, when he first did his Sense Space, it was an old office of his that he moved out of, and he created this Sense Space in this little office. It's probably a third the size of this office that I'm in now. It's a very small space. But because we use different levels within there and we have things stuck on the walls, and because we can regularly change things that are inside the Sense Space, the materials that are in there, and we have a whole kind of curriculum, and we call it the provision. Basically, we built a lot of our enrichment curriculum around the same concepts that Beth used to use when she was a primary school teacher. So in the primary school, they call it the provision. What is the provision for the children? Well, and the provision is all of the things that contribute to the child's learning. You know, the environment that the child's in, the stuff that the teacher's talking about, the materials that they're using, etc. So we have our enrichment provision. Yeah, and we have it all kind of mapped out in that as well. To make it dead easy for people to do. So Sense Space, you know, you can have an indoor Sense Space, you can have an outdoor Sense Space. As I have clients who have Scent Gardens, you know, you can have a pop-up Sense Space. You could have it as an area in your lobby even, you know, like there's a ton of different ways that you can do it to get started, essentially, so that you can test it and get clients paying money for it before you even think about you know, putting up walls and all that kind of thing. Very, very easy to get started with a Sense Space. Adventure walks. Any kind of outdoor activity, really. It doesn't just have to be an adventure walk. Apologies if my internet drops out again, Eve. Can you hear me okay? Perfect. Adventure walks, paired walks. If you have lots of countryside, you know, your nature walks. I know Gabby has a lot of success. One of their most popular enrichments is like a beach walk, you know. All of the clients add that on because that's where they are. If you're in a city, you can do socialization walks, you know, and environmental stimulation walks, you know. Like there's tons of different ways you can spin it to make it work. Paired walks is another one, buddy walks. Gamifying, any kind of gamifying that you can do within the daycare environment, clients are going to love. We love gamifying anyway. We love it, you know. So so like the Sense Space is a good example with that one. We can do like we can turn a Sense Space activity into like an escape room type thing, you know. And then so the dog has to find a bunch of different clues or a bunch of different scents in there, and then he can escape from the escape room. And they've got a handler with him as well, so the dog isn't doing it by himself. Don't worry about that. But yeah, that's really, really easy.
Yep, nope, now you froze down. So as Don was talking about how Tim utilized an office space, for me, we're utilizing some empty suites that I have during the week. Filling in for you, Dom. So
I'm
for
back,
me,
guys. Holy cow, this is terrible. I
I don't even
apologize.
have an office that I use, but I just take some of our empty suites that aren't used during the week, and then each suite has a different theme within the suite. So it makes it super easy. We set it up on a Sunday night after that boarder has left. So we'll utilize 3 suites, and one is scent. One might be balls or just other things. And then one is nature. So some greenery in it with some different flowers and things like that. So we offer just a multitude of different things. Take it away, Nick.
Nice. Nice. What was I up to? Gamify, is that right? Cool. Okay, so somebody else very recently they did a gamify thing with like a bingo card, you know, and the different activities on there, and that went down really well too. Forest school. So you guys have forest schools over there? It's basically just a school, like a school, a primary school, will create like a forest school outside. So it's basically outdoor learning, you know. So any
Outdoor
kind of
gardens. We have outdoor gardens.
cool, yeah, we call it forest schools. It's a cooler name, to be fair. Forest school, come on. But
Only
but
if I can
basically,
dress up and wear a crown and some fairy wings, then I'm in. Oh, love it. Story time. I know I've done that as an add-on. That's big on staff time. So that's where story time gets to be kind of a difficult thing.
Indeed, you could do group story time though. So you can
there you go. Group
there you
story
go.
time.
There you can do group story. So there aren't very many group activities that you can do, but story time is one of them. So you can have dogs on lead, and you can charge the same amount of money for group story time as you do for individual story time, because it's group story, it's pack story time. Yeah. So that's another one. So quickly on the forest school example that I gave there too. Any kind of you'll see similarities as we go through this. Anything that is like popular with kids or is a thing with kids can be a thing with dogs. Yeah. Socialization, another big one. Something that is hugely missing from a lot of dogs' lives is adequate socialization. So building some sort of socialization checklist into your enrichment program is hugely beneficial. You could charge a lot of money for it. Snuffle Cafe is essentially just a bunch of snuffle mats, but we call it a snuffle cafe. That's us selling the sizzle, not the steak. And any kind of canine culinary charcuterie boards and all this kind of thing. We have a lot of fun with stuff like that. And theming as well, which Eve already talked about. We're going to talk about theming in just a second. So you can elevate the demand, the desirability, and the dollars the clients are prepared to spend through the great marketing that you do. And you guys already do a bunch of different themes throughout the year. You'll do your Valentine's. We've got Easter coming up. We've got Halloween and Christmas. They're like the most popular ones. And other companies do this too. When do we know that it's the fall? Yeah, well, Starbucks tell us that it's fall because they bring out their cinnamon spice coffees, and Shamrock Shakes will be coming up soon for St. Patrick's Day, and all these different kinds of things that that companies do to theme their products and services. We can do a similar thing as well. Yeah, so you already do those. If we can add some kind of an experience to a theme, then we can charge a lot more money for it. So this is, I love this slide. This is the progression of economic value. And this is showing us that the more we turn something from just a commodity, which anybody has access to, the more we turn it into a personalized experience, the more money we can charge for it, and the greater we will differentiate ourselves from the competition. Okay, so if you think about let's use food as an example. Okay, so like if we take food out of the ground, carrots, potatoes, whatever, like it's not worth very much money at all. It's actually really, really cheap. And if we turn that into a good, if we package it up and clean it and put it in a bag, it's worth a bit more money. If we can deliver that as part of a meal, yeah, well then we can charge even more money for it. If we can turn that into a fine dining experience, Beth and I just recently went to this place called the Black Swan at Alstead. It absolutely blew our mind. It was incredible. It was the experience factor. The food was fantastic, but it was what they had done with it, and they charged us a lot of money for that experience. So this is, I just want to get you thinking more about how we can take what we do from being a regular bog standard everyday activity to turning it into an experience like Disney do. So here's a good example for the business. If you think about something like a Kong or a Licky mat, okay, you might be able to charge like $5, maybe $10 most for something like that. You could elevate that into some kind of gourmet option. So you could put fancier food in there, or whatever, and then you could charge a bit more money for it. If you turn that into a scent game of find the food, and you hide the Kong for the dog to find, or you hide a bunch of Kongs in your scent space maybe, then you can get the dogs to find those food. You can charge more for it because you're turning it into more of a service rather than just a thing. And if you were to add a story into that too, so if you said there's a pirate's packed lunch hidden in a scent space, and the dogs have to follow the pirate's treasure map, and they have to cross the mermaid's lagoon and avoid walking the plank to find it, well, then you've turned it into a Disney-fied experience. Okay, and that's where to go back to the previous slide, that's where you're staging an experience. And then you can charge a hell of a lot more money for this. And this is kind of what we've done with our Enrich You program. You've turned it into a memorable, highly differentiated experience for dogs. Like I said, this is what Disney do very, very well with everything that they do. Can you still hear me, Eve? Marvelous.
Yes, sir. All good.
Wonderful. Something you might recognize this guy. This is Tim Jackson. He is my Enrich You partner in crime. One of my coaching clients. Tim's been in my world, part of my elite mastermind for the last 5 years now. And Tim won the Marketer of the Year competition a couple of years ago in 2023. And how he won it was through some of the amazing themed experience that he provided in his daycare. And he totally knocked it out the park with this special murder mystery month, which was Who Killed Tim Jackson? That was what he called it. So Tim played the part of the policeman as well. PC Handsome, he called himself. Eve, you won't be surprised. And so he set up this whole themed experience. The dogs had to look for clues to see who had committed the crime. As you can see, blood spattered paw prints on the wall. Oh my goodness. There was evidence bags. Like I said, he set that's his sense space. Can you see? Yeah, not a big room at all. And he's turned it into like a crime scene here. But who committed the crime? Well, Tim had a lineup of likely pooch culprits, and he got the clients to pick who they thought had committed the crime. The clients also came down for a client like appreciation evening, so they came down to look for clues. So they made it a real interactive community experience. Then Tim interviewed the dogs in his interview suite, and eventually Freddie, the golden retriever, the clients decided that Freddie was the culprit. As you can see, Freddie has no comment written all over his bib there. Now then, what happened next was really interesting, because the question was asked, is Freddie guilty or not? Well, Freddie's owner wasn't very happy about this. So she started a Free Freddie campaign. And she stuck this big poster on the front of Tim's daycare. And she made a banner that went up inside too. They had T-shirts made. They had badges done. This is one of the clients.
Today, and I can't help but keep thinking about Free Freddie.
Free Freddie!
Free Freddie!
Free Freddie! Free Freddie! So then I hope that didn't buffer too much. They're wanting to free Freddie. So I'm not sure if you noticed from the video, that's a doctor. Okay, one of Tim's clients. So don't think that your clients are too sophisticated for this kind of thing. Okay, you are wrong if you think that. Just before Christmas, I was at the Ritz-Carlton in Georgetown near Washington, and they served us some Mexican food for lunch one day, and they even themed the little area that they had it with some like Mexican props. Also in the lobby, they were doing fall lobby activities. So they were celebrating National Samosa Day and National Chai Day, and they had little displays out and stuff as well. And obviously at this kind of hotel are staying high-powered businessmen and congressmen and all this kind of thing as well. So please don't think that your clients are too sophisticated for all of this. So to summarize, guys, for this, you should start adding in more personalized experiential enrichment services. You should have a menu of enrichment add-ons, because often clients will buy 1, 2, 3, 4 enrichments. They'll add this on. Also when their dogs come boarding too. And I offer a range of services that ascend in price. Okay, there's a ton of hidden money in your business right now that you can only unlock by offering your clients the more personalized, higher priced services that they really want. You can create scarcity with time-limited monthly themes. And it's better for the dogs, the staff, the clients, and you, the business owner. So Tim's results were off the charts, really. He tripled his profits. He's an award-winning daycare, and we kind of took so about 12 months ago, 14 months ago, I had a conversation with Tim. I said, Tim, what you've created here in your daycare, I said, it's too good to keep for yourself. I said, we need to find a way to kind of productize it and take it so that other people can do it. So that's what we did. And over the course of last year, it took us about 6 months to pull it all together. But we created Enrich University, our dog daycare success system. And this is kind of the This is the like plug-in version of like everything that we've talked about today. So I'll just spend 2 minutes talking about this, Eve. Is that all right? And then I'll take any questions. Yeah.
Yes, you're good. And my staff, I think I have 4 people enrolled in your Enrich University. 2 of them are my dog trainers, and then the other 2 work at my facility where we do enrichment. So they've all been enjoying it.
Fabulous. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, so this is a fully customizable enrichment curriculum, and it's designed to captivate and keep your clients, get them booking over and over. It can transform the basic services that you offer and turn them into unforgettable experiences that engage the dogs, and they create real memorable moments for your clients. It also has plugged into it like a done-for-you marketing system. And we provide all of the ideas and the structure for the enrichment activities. We also provide the marketing materials as well to enable you to sell it. Because when I talked at the start about all the reasons people have for not wanting to do enrichment, and one of them is that they suck at selling. They don't know how to sell it. They don't know what to charge for it. Well, we take that problem away because we provide the solution for you. And you really will have your clients raving about your daycare like it's a Disneyland for dogs. We have a ton of innovative promotional ideas that keep the daycare buzzing. I'm doing a special offer for our Dog Handler Academy friends. So I've thrown in a bunch of different programs. The URL is there. I'm not going to do like a really hard sell on it. Some of the guys who are in Eve's world already, or they're a part of Dog Handler Academy, are a part of Enrich University as well, and we have a great crossover there. Yeah, so all I'm going to say is like, please go and check the program out. If you've liked everything that you've heard on the webinar, you can either just take it and go and do it yourself, by all means. But if you want the easy way, then we have this this really amazing program that's really blown up a lot of daycares. They're having really good fun with it. Yeah, if you feel like your daycare is blending in with the competition, if you're struggling with unmotivated staff and unruly dogs, then Enrich You is the program for you. Yeah, we have a bunch of there's actually about 70 daycares enrolled in the program right now. These are some of the guys who enrolled at the recent Hershey Expo. This is Kelly, one of our members who's doing really well. Our business has flourished. We get all the marketing ideas and materials. Her staff members love it. Like they're so excited to see what the theme's going to be for the next month, and getting all of the exercises and everything else. And she's absolutely killing it. We're about to roll. Kelly recently moved from she moved from like a home facility to a facility that they've had built or like renovated. Huh?
A brick and mortar.
Yeah, sorry, a brick and mortar. Yeah, that's the word, darling. And like it was only in December, and like she's absolutely smashing it. We're gonna go members only soon. I just did a coaching call with her this week. We'll be going members only in that facility very soon. So yeah, this is. And not just to do with us with this as well. She's done a ton of good stuff. But yeah, this has certainly helped. This month is Superhero Month. Next month is Down at the Farm Month. We have different themes every single month. You can see there a little, you get the posters to put up in the daycare and everything else as well.
Well,
yeah.
One of the things that I think we've really enjoyed is that I don't have to go on Etsy. I don't have to search Google. I don't have to sit and do all this research. We took your superhero theme, and this week we're doing Mario Kart, right? Like we took pieces that you had provided and been like, this is an activity, and we're like, yeah, we like that, but it's Mario Kart Day. So we're going to take that and then just make it into ours. So that's the nice thing, is that what you're providing to my staff to figure this stuff out, they can pick and choose. It's plug and play, so to speak. It makes it a lot easier. And then my one staff person who's in charge of coming up with our themes, I add 2 hours onto his pay period. So it's an hour a week that I give him to spend. So I just put that on his paycheck. And so he enjoys that. He's getting paid for his creativity, and I don't have to worry about it. So it works out for me.
Yeah, and that was the other big problem, Eve, that a lot of people had was the ideas, you know. It's
Yeah.
not that it's coming up with new fresh ideas every month. And I'm pleased you mentioned what you just did there because like we tried to make it like as cookie cutter simple as possible. So if you wanted to, you can just use the stuff that we send. But a lot of people do like what you've done, Eve, you know. So they've been doing stuff like Mardi Gras, you know, and some people are doing like a St. Patrick's Day thing this month and things like that. And so they're taking the ideas that we give them and then they're like having a conversation with the staff and saying like, oh, and the staff are saying, well, actually, we like what you said, we think we could do this, but we can actually do this instead, you know, based upon the resources and the infrastructure that we've got here, we should do this. And so like it can either be plug and play or it can be like a catalyst for whatever the hell it is that you want to do, but you'll never run out of ideas, that is for sure.
No,
But yeah,
and
that's me, guys. And I appreciate Eve for letting me talk about the program.
oh, absolutely. Like I said, I've thoroughly enjoyed the fact that looking at the stuff that you have done and the ideas that you provide, and then looking at what do I already have in my facility? What do I have in my house? So like I took all of my couch cushions up there one day from my outdoor furniture, and we used those. I think we were playing Frog It or something, right? Like so. And we just used my green couch cushions as opportunities for the dogs to jump from one spot to the other spot. We took your storytime idea and we did Lady in the Tramp Day. So we played Lady for Valentine's Day week. So we did movie day. So the dogs got to hang out in one of the play groups, and we brought again a bunch of pillows and couch cushions, and we played 15 minutes of the movie. So that was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
I'm gonna
will
go
get a
back and that
copy
slide for
of
the person who's asking for that.
this presentation. So we did record it and we'll email it out to you this evening or tomorrow morning once it's available, once Zoom does all of its fun things. So that's really great. If you've ever heard me speak, and I really talk about knowing your cost, knowing your numbers, Dom and I were talking about that before we hopped on here. And as he said, Tim utilized an office space. I utilize an existing kennel Monday through Friday. And actually now that we've kind of mastered that enrichment add-on piece, we are taking a hallway area, and I'm just using the wire kennels from like your Home Depot, your Lowe's. And when I attach them to the wall, I'm just not doing them super tight. So that way I can lay it flat and then I can pull it open. But all the stuff that I attach to the wiring stays in place as a way to maximize space. So really think about that. You don't need a dedicated, huge 20 by 20 play group. I mean, I'm guessing that office is what, 200 square feet, maybe? What is it, an 8 by 8 or a 10 by 10 office, Dom, that Tim's using? I can't imagine that it's super huge. So keep that in mind. Pop-up screen tents, those are great to use. I've even seen people just utilize storage containers, outdoor sheds, greenhouses. You can buy those plastic greenhouses at Sam's Club. I don't have a Costco here. I hear it's great. I would love to go visit one sometime. But that would be another key one. And then how do you minimize the expenses? And thank you, Diane. We will definitely get that to you. Minimizing expenses. How I utilize it is that my space is set up. My trainers, my dog trainers are the ones utilizing the, just got a beam of sun, that are utilizing the enrichment. And for us, we promote enrichment as puppies who aren't allowed to have group play. In the States here, we have a pretty strict rabies situation where dogs have to have their rabies before they're allowed to have group play in a lot of states. So we use it for puppies that are too young that aren't allowed group play. We use it for dogs that have aged out of daycare, but the people still work 10, 12-hour days. Dogs that have been kicked out of other daycares. I don't necessarily want to put them in my pack, my group play. So we promote it for that. And dogs that are on the cusp of being removed from my daycare. We always like to say those dogs that are coming in hot in the morning, right? The ones that I usually would put in a crate or in a suite and they need to chill out for a little bit, this is a nice opportunity for me to tell the parents, hey, for an extra $15, your dog's going to get some enrichment time. And for us, it takes my staff for 5 minutes to get the dog out of group play and get them into their enrichment space. So looking at cost wise, if that 5 minutes cost me, $4 and I'm charging 15, I'm making $10 per enrichment. So those are just different ways to really look at how can you minimize your expense of your staff and maximize your efficiency. Is when are they doing it? How are they doing it? Rotating the dogs in and out. Another way to do the enrichment is when you do potty time, where the dogs are going from inside to outside for potty. That's when you grab that dog and give them their enrichment time. So therefore it's not taking as long. For us, that's about 1.5 minutes. So then my profit margin is even higher. So those are just some different ways that I look to minimize expenses and maximize my profits with utilizing enrichment. Other ways, Dom.
Fabulous, yeah. Yeah, I think like you know way more about this, and I love those examples you give there. I think a good, you need to kind of shift your thinking a little bit about this and understand that this is certainly for that there's a certain percentage of your client base, maybe 20%, just 20% of your client base who will, if you position it the right way and you are consistent with how you communicate it and you make it attractive, and beneficial for the dog, you sell the benefits essentially, and you sell the value of it. 20% of your clients will like get on board with all of the things that I've just talked about here and the things that you're doing as well, Eve. Like that. They'll get on board with it straight away because they have the money to spend and they want to spend it, like it's as easy as putting it in front of them,
Yep.
And then that once you start that, well, then you start getting a bit of FOMO going then, because then you can start talking in your on your social medias about, oh, this is Bonzo enjoying some exclusive time in our sense space where he spent time foraging for whatever, or looking for this, or practicing his CSI skills and stuff like that. And then it doesn't take very long for you to post that kind of thing and be talking about it in your emails, or maybe you have some kind of sense space wall of fame, for all of the dogs who've been in your sense space. So once you start doing things like this, more clients, they want to be a part of it. Then when the clients who are taking part, once they start to see the results with their dog as well, oh, my dog is so much calmer, he's so much better behaved, he looks like he's having a fabulous time. You start getting testimonials from these clients as well.
Huge.
And sharing those on your socials and you email about them and stuff like that. Again, it's just like it's like a virtuous circle, you get more and more and more people coming for it. Then as the demand grows for it, you can start increasing the price more as well too, so and then it's like, and yeah, and so it's like wherever you are, like on the scale of doing enrichments, understand there's a lot more you can do, and there's a lot further you can go, and there are a lot higher prices that you can charge as well.
Absolutely. And that's where you really just have to stop and think about the who, the what, and the where. And don't be afraid to experiment.
100%, yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is grab a couple of dogs that their parents are very active on social media with us. And those are the dogs that you want to say, hey, I'm demoing out this scent space area. Can I utilize your dog and post on social media? They'd be like, oh, sure. So they're going to post on social media. And because they're already huge social media people, they're going to share it and share it and share it and share it. And then that just naturally creates this whole great marketing campaign.
Yeah.
So it's not always going to be, the dogs you want to grab aren't necessarily your highest, revenue client. You want to grab the dog whose parent is the most engaged on social media. And that's your demo dog.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And we have a whole I'll share like the top line of it now, but we have a whole I have a whole like launch sequence that like I give people, you know, as part of the sense-based stuff and the Enrich You things. Like it's like a whole email sequence that we use to build the excitement. And then when we launch it on a limited basis, you know. So you don't just say how many people want this, you say we have 4 spaces in our send space this Friday, you know, and it's first come, first served. And if you want your dog to be the first one to enjoy this, then you better goddamn reply to this email fast and book your place, you know? And so
Right.
you purposefully create a bit of demand like that by limiting the supply of it. And then over time we can increase the supply and yeah, it's so there are a bunch of different things you can do to make sure you launch with like a bang, you know, because it's really important, I think, to have the best launch possible, whatever it is that you're selling.
100%. 100%. I am always very specific. And you're going to work some bugs out when you first start this. So don't be like, oh my God, you know, nobody signed up for it.
Mm.
Okay, why did they sign up?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
Price
we've
is
had that
usually
too.
not the factor. Price is usually not the factor.
No, no, no,
It
no,
is
no, no. Yeah.
usually you didn't explain it well enough. It didn't look in your marketing materials like it was something their dog would enjoy. So like for us, we're always looking at our active dog and our so we call them our old man crew. You know, making sure that we're doing something for both the dogs that are physically fit and excitable, and our dogs that just kind of mope around and exist, but they still enjoy all of that mental stimulation. So one that's maybe more mentally stimulating than physically stimulating. But that's our goal when we're doing our enrichment activities, is just making sure that we can meet both dogs where they're at.
100%. Yeah. Did they all enjoy this, Eve? Did you all enjoy this, guys? Was it worthwhile coming along?
There you go. We still have quite a few people engaged. If you have specific questions for Dom, you want us to explain something, dive a little deeper. You've got us for another few minutes here. We can certainly do that. And Dom has lots of great things. Certainly, Dom, podcasts.
Yeah.
Where can people follow along?
Yeah, the pet boarding and daycare podcast. That's kind of the main one for your audience, I think, really, for the daycare owners. I have my own podcast too, the Poodle to Pitbull Pet Business Podcast. Eve tends to show up on there about once a month at the moment. Can't get rid of her.
There you go. I like to hear the sound of my own voice, apparently. No.
Yeah, we have that in common.
But you're looking for business stuff. The Poodle to Pitbull is definitely worth your time to take a listen.
Definitely, yeah. And I have coaching programs and we have the mastermind, which is full now, but yeah, lots of cool things happening. Get yourself on my email list and yeah, I'm thrilled that you invited me on here, Eve. It's been a joy. I love talking about this stuff and yeah, it looks like people enjoyed it, so that's great.
Yeah. Well, as always, Dom, you are full of great information, great thoughts, very provoking. If you didn't take notes, again, you will get a copy of this presentation and a link to this so you can go back, review it, sit down with maybe your management staff, your training staff, your leadership staff, and really kind of dive into how you can make enrichment part of your facility to increase revenue, keep your staff engaged, and deliver something of value to the dogs and their pet parents. So with all of that, thank you, everybody. We truly, truly appreciate it. Dom, you are coming to Chicago for our leadership summit in September 10th through the 12th. If you want more information on that, reach out to Dog Handler Academy. And then I'm jumping the pond, as you like to say, and coming to see you in the summer for your Impact Summit.
You are. I can't wait for both of those events. Yeah, it's going to be amazing. So
Fabulous.
fantastic. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again soon.